In this screencast, I'm going to show you how to optimize your keywords on your web pages so that Google can pick it up and you're going to maximize your chances of ranking really highly for that keyword. So for this demo, we're going to use our sellerdemo.com website. This is it here, which is a fictional site, and it's selling sports cameras and accessories. And we're going to promote a term which doesn't even exist on Google to demonstrate this. And in fact, the term we're going to promote is this, which is triangle square cameras. And so you can see down here, if you search for triangle square cameras, it comes up with loads of results, but none of them specific to that phrase. We've got one here with cameras in it, one here with triangle square in it, and in fact, some with all three words, but there's one there, camera triangle square in it, but not triangle square cameras, which is what we're going to promote with our page. And in fact, if you search for this with double quotes around it, then it will only return the exact results. And if I search for that, it comes up with one website there, so that's all we've got to beat there. And I don't know, I haven't looked at to see exactly where that's ranking for that term, but that's all we've got to beat there. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. Triangle square cameras. So if I flip to the admin system, then I can go down to the triangle square cameras category that I've created. And if I select that, you'll see I've already created 3 items in that category. And if we go into edit mode, and then you'll see the page that I've got here already. This is an automatically generated menu, so I can go cameras, triangle square cameras, and you'll see this is what the page looks like at the moment. And if I press the SEO button, this is what you're going to want to be using. Then it will show you what I've already got on this page. So there's already a few instances of the term on there, which is really good. So we've got triangle square camera, triangle square cameras, appearing 6 and 5 times. So already we're off to a good start, but there's work that needs to be done on this because it's not got enough information on it. So that's the first thing you want to do, is go to your page and click on the SEO button and see what you've already got on there. Now this happens to be obviously a product page or a product category page. So for that, the first thing we want to do is create the category description. So for that, let's go into the admin system, click on categories, and click on the description icon here for triangle square cameras. Then I'm going to click on add new description, and I'm going to paste in my description. There we go. Click on save changes and click on close. So you can see we've got a description there. If I go into edit mode and refresh this screen, we've got more text there. And if I click on SEO, that will have increased the count there of triangle square cameras. But also, you know, it's not the only keyword on the page. You've got to make it proper text. If Google just sees the same keyword again and again and again, it will just think you're trying to spam the search index. So you have to have proper text on there and weave the keywords into your text. So, but this still hasn't got enough on it. So I'm going to add another block down the bottom. And I'm going to use this feature text and headers block. Okay, that's been added on the bottom, and you will see I've already put information in it. So we've got triangle square cameras info, some text there about our cameras, benefits of triangle square. Okay, so that's really almost it. So now we can click on the SEO button there. And so now we can see we've got triangle square. There's no doubt to Google about what we're trying to promote here. So we've got triangle square cameras, and we've got the title H1, H2 and H3. But if we look at the title, actually that needs some work doing on it there, which we'll do in a second. And also I need to point out one thing that I did down the bottom here. With these titles here, you highlight them and then choose heading 2 from the drop down, because I want those to be heading 2s, and that is shown up in here. That's what the H1 and H2 and H3 represent. You don't need to worry too much about H3, or you can if you want, if you kind of put more text on the page. H1 on a page that's generated by seller like this will be the triangle square cameras title of the category anyway, or if you're on an item page, it'll be the name of the item. And you can see down the bottom, it will just confirm what that is there. But the other thing I want to show you as well is at the moment we've got a generated title tag, which is this one here. Seller demo store, sports cams, triangle square cameras. That's not really good enough, so we want to change that. So if we click on the meta tags icon here, so this is all generated. So we click on the action icon for title, and we're just going to get rid of this and just call it triangle square cameras. Click on add new, and then for the description, I'm going to put a description there as well. and I've put we sell a huge range of triangle square cameras, all with 12 months warranty. Just going to copy that there as well and click on add new. So there we've got title and description. You also want to go to open graph tags and just do exactly the same there. So I'm going to paste that in there for the description, and the title I will just have it as triangle square cameras. Now open graph tags are used by social media for systems like Facebook to work out what's on the page. But of course, if Google sees that on your page, it's going to know you're a modern website. You know, some websites haven't been touched for years. This will show that you're up to speed and it's a modern website, which can be a signal for Google as well. So we'll set those the same too. So now we've got loads of text on the page. If we click on the SEO button there and we just double check, so we've got triangle square cameras, that's 14, so by far the biggest phrase on the page. It appears in the title H1, H2. We've got it in the title tag down here, H1 tags here, and H2 tags here as well, show it too. So that's really great, but there is one final thing that we need to do. In fact, there's two things we need to do. The first one is you need to make sure you link to the page from somewhere. Of course, this, I'm using an automatically generated menu here, so we've got it in there. If you're not doing that, you want to link to this, or if it's a standalone page, you want to link to this page from somewhere. And then the other thing you want to do is make sure it's on your sitemap. So if we go back to the admin system and we go to website sitemap, so when you make any change to your website or the products, or every now and again, if you can't remember if you changed anything, just hit this button here for generate new sitemap. You don't need to wait for it, that just goes away and does it. And so that will update your sitemap and tell Google about all the pages that are on your website. It's not totally essential because, of course, Google will look at your website and work out the pages anyway. But if you can make it as easy as possible for Google, that has got to be a good thing. And if you haven't used a sitemap before, there's instructions at the bottom of how you can add your sitemap. You need to log on to something called Google Search Console, and you can link Google to your sitemap there, which is a really great idea. So there we go. So that's how to promote keywords on your web pages. And you want to go through every single page on your website and work out what it should be promoting, and then click on the SEO button to see if it is actually promoting that keyword. And you may need to sort of move things around or change some of the text on there, or just add your keyword a few times into your text. You know, obviously making sure it makes sense and is meaningful. And then that will help to tell Google exactly what your page is all about. Okay, so this is now a couple of days later, and we have the results of our triangle square cameras SEO screencast tutorial. And you can see here, this is our triangle square cameras page in front of us here. And it's interesting to note that when the previous part of the screencast was recorded, that was the 24th of June. It's actually 2020, but it's the 24th of June. Now, if we click on the SEO button on this page, there's a really interesting piece of information on here, which is when the page was last spidered. And it shows here it was last spidered by Google on the 25th of June in the morning. So after setting the sitemap, then Google picked up on this page quite quickly. And in fact, it seems that by refreshing your sitemap, then that causes Google to re-spider it quite quickly. If you don't do that, if you just change things, from what we've seen, it can take a lot longer for Google to pick it up. So that's an interesting thing for starters. So we've regenerated the sitemap when we did this, and now Google's picked it up the next day. But you know what? On the 25th of June, which was yesterday, nothing happened. We didn't appear in the results or anything. So even after you get the spider on there, it doesn't necessarily immediately go into the Google results, even though it has the information. But if we flip to the Google results now, you can see here triangle square cameras, and of course we're at #1 with sellerdemo.com. In fact, if I just click on that and refresh it just so you can see it actually work, there we go, sellerdemo.com, #1. You know what? And we're at #1 out of 58,400,000 results. What an incredible achievement that is. Well, it's not really, is it? Because triangle square cameras, despite what it looks like, hasn't really got any competition. Not in that exact set of terms, that exact phrase. But yeah, we're at #1. So this is great news, because what this has done is it's shown exactly what you'd expect to see, that on-page optimization of the keywords will get you to #1, but with one crucial caveat, that's if there is no competition. Now, what if there's competition? There's two things to note here. The first one is if there's competition, then whoever's done the on-page optimization best is going to be higher, but there's a kind of elephant in the room with this, because Google came to be so big by one reason only. Well, because it's so accurate. And how did it become so accurate? Because it uses backlinks. Okay, so when you have a whole list of results, one of the most important things, probably the most important things that Google takes into account is how many links to your website you've got from quality other websites and what the term in the hyperlink is that's linking to your website. So in other words, if everyone created the same page as us, or at least Google kind of rated it the same with just on-page optimization, then we would appear in the list. We could appear anywhere in the list if everyone was at the same level of optimization. But what makes someone go to number 1 and higher up is then Google says, okay, then what other websites are pointing back to this website? It's almost like they're putting their hand in the air and voting that you're an important website. So that's the next thing we need to look at, is how to get backlinks and how to see how many backlinks you got going to your website and what the competition are doing. And we're going to cover that in the next SEO backlinks tutorial.